some signal from another hill.
This is
That was happening.
actually this is telling me I'm on 4G here, so I'm not even hooked to the Wi-Fi. So hopefully we'll be all right. Actually,
Okay.
because it's the Wi-Fi. It's the Wi-Fi that cuts off. The Wi-Fi in the house is horrendous. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
just
need to.
it's awful. It's absolutely awful. So yeah, hopefully we'll be all right. I've everything crossed. What can I say?
We'll be all right. It'll be fine. It always works out just fine. And what animals might disturb us? What's that? What have you got?
None, because I've
Animal-wise?
closed all the
None.
doors.
Okay, but
None.
which animals have you got in the house?
In the house, really, there's only the cat. And honestly, she's such an outdoor cat.
Okay.
Even she doesn't come in that often. When I was
Okay.
talking to Kimberly, she did creep up and try and get up on me, and then she realised that there was
Oh.
somebody speaking, and she dashed off again.
Oh.
They are generally quite. We had another cat at Christmas, which was our favourite, all of us. And I know we're not supposed to have favourites, but she was adorable. And she just went missing one day. And I think probably the hunters.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the hunters around here, they're a little bit trigger happy. Let's
What
put
are
it
they
that way.
hunting?
Wild boar, mostly wild boar. They'll take a few deer occasionally, but mostly it's wild boar. We're overrun, Eleanor, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, last night I went out with the dog out 500 yards up the road and I could hear them. And I thought, no, we'll just turn back.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are dangerous. So
To
I do.
humans.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. Very much so. They at this time of year not so alarmingly dangerous, but if it's the mating season, if they have young, they'll attack. If they feel under any threat whatsoever, they will attack, and you won't survive well. Actually, I've looked up exactly what to do in the event of being attacked by a wild boar, and it basically, it says to don't move, don't run, roll in a ball. They will attack for 30 seconds, no more, and then they'll leave. So if you can bear 30 seconds of 9-inch tusks, coming into at you, then you'll survive.
So
but
you cover your head, because I live.
Yeah,
we're quite close to you. My place in France is Courland, which is just, so we're probably, I don't know, 6 hours as the crow flies, and I was there in October. Because I hear the hunters go out when I hear the dogs start to bark.
Do you see wild boar?
We have seen them. I mean, yeah, we have, but we hear them more than see them. But up in the woods, so I'll walk up into the woods. We're sort of enveloped. We're on a hill as well, and we're sort of enveloped by woodland. And I go up into the woods, and you can just see everywhere they've been. Obviously, because they're turning the ground over.
Exactly. I mean, I know exactly where they've been. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this hill last year, the hunt, they shot 162 wild boar.
Oh my God! How long's the season? In how
the season? Well, it's almost got to the stage where we are so invaded by them that it's almost open season the entire time. Usually, it's September to February, so we're at the end of the shooting season now. But a lot of the farmers and the local landowners, they have special dispensation to shoot if they have to. My neighbor showed me a video the other day from last summer. He was on the tractor in the valley there, just turning over, just raking over the top of a field, which he never plows because it's too rocky here.
Yeah.
And the wild boar, there were 30 wild boar following the tractor.
Following the tractor, bold as brass.
As bold as brass, just following the tractor. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he videoed them.
Do they threaten your livestock?
No. They won't attack unless they feel threatened. Now I have a little dog who is very old, in fact, now. And yeah, he would definitely try and threaten them. Even at his age, he wouldn't win the fight, but he would try and threaten them. But if they don't feel any threat from the people or the animal passing, they won't attack.
Right.
So yeah,
so it's conceivable to live cheek by jowl with the local wild boar.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't stop me walking, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I do carry a knife,
Do
just in
you?
case. Yeah, I have to. You know, I have to
Mm.
just in case. Not that I've ever had to use it, and honestly, I do ask myself, would I be capable of using it even if I had to?
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope I never have to find out.
No. And really, the same rule applies to any animal, including humans. Is it really just if you get in between them and they're young? That's the
Pretty
bit.
much, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because all they want to do is protect. You know,
Yeah.
they
They're just.
they move around in I don't know what do you call
I don't. You must call it
I'm
a.
not sure it's a herd.
No,
It's
it's
not a
not a
pack.
herd. It's not a pack.
Um,
It's
I
not a
can't
murder.
remember. No, it's not one of those either.
No,
It has a name,
there'll
but they move
be if
around.
somebody's listening who knows what the
Yes,
correct
please say.
collective noun is for boar. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked it up before and I've forgotten completely. But they do
Okay.
move around in big families. They tend to stick together, and then what
Yeah.
happens is the males of the brood tend to split off, and they'll go and find their own families. You know, they'll find a female, make their own families.
Yeah.
But you know, one wild boar can have up to between 8 and 12 babies.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
most cops.
yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
thrilled to hear that they're proliferating. I love wild boar, and
So
the
do
more the
I.
merrier.
So
So
do I. But I am cautious of them because, you know,
yeah, but that's sensible, isn't it? It's like if you lived in Canada, you'd be cautious of, or America, cautious of the bears, or you know what I mean,
of
or
course,
the wolves.
yeah.
Do you have wolves there?
Not quite this far south.
Okay.
But I was talking to um Alexander, who writes the Crow's Nest,
Yes.
the other day, and that he frequently sees what wolf tracks where he is, but he's around about 5 hours northeast of here, so sort of
Okay, up towards the mountains.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there used to be wolves here, but not anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
I'm longing
anymore.
to reintroduce them to where
Oh,
I am.
me too. I'd
You
love
know,
to have wolves.
wouldn't
I'd
that
love
be
to have wolves.
great?
Having
Yeah.
said that, we have enough problems with the fox at the moment.
Do
We really
you?
need a wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
because the wolves would temper the fox.
the wolves
Would
would
they?
temper. Well, they're not an animal that mixes at all. I think the wolves would certainly make the foxes more cautious. You know, the
Yeah.
foxes we're as overrun with foxes as we are wild boar. So I think if there were wolves, there wouldn't be quite so many foxes. But wolves are just as damaging in terms of livestock. And in fact, a wolf would take my sheep, whereas a fox won't.
Okay, so what's the trouble with foxes for you? What are
My
they?
chickens.
They're taking your chickens, and are they
Yeah.
getting in? Are they getting in and just ripping the heads off, and that's that?
Well, the last fox that came, he took two or three, literally one every night, one after the other. The last one he took in broad daylight,
Yeah.
literally broad daylight.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem I have at the moment is the buzzard. I have a buzzard that
Really?
she has frightened my hens stupid. There's only 3 left, Eleanor. We have 3 left. There were 8.
And they're not. So they're out. Au sauvage, but they're not in a covered. They don't have a covered net over them.
They're about to have a covered net over them. We're going to have to put them into a proper coop with a
with a
netted,
cover.
a netted. I mean,
Because the buzzard will come down and
she will.
take them. Like,
Yeah, she will.
yeah, we've got at least 8 pairs here at the farm in Surrey, and an incredible uplift in kites. I mean, I'm thrilled. We've got so many pairs of kites that we never, because in the last decade I have fully turned the land over to itself, as it were. Like, I've taken all kind of 1950s intensive farming. That was what I inherited here. I inherited a farmer with 1950s intensive farming and all the rubbish that goes with it. And about a decade ago I said thanks, but no thanks. And we just stood back after many people trying to offer me a million pieces of advice.
Of course. Yeah.
I decided the best thing to do was just stand back.
Yeah.
And I have a very lovely friend, a farmer who just very, very light footfall over 300 acres, and he's probably only got about 30 head of cattle.
Yeah.
And the uplift in bird life, and also obviously all the underground life that I can't see, but I can see the uplift in the bird life. And I mean, it is, and the insect life. Oh, it makes my heart sing. So have you got kites as well? What have you got? Have you got?
Funny enough, around the hill there, I have occasionally see a kite. Just 4 kilometers up the road, I see them all the time. So they obviously have certain. I don't know what it is about this particular little patch of land that they don't enjoy, but I don't often see a kite. Maybe they don't like the buzzards. I don't know, because we have a huge amount of buzzards. We have a huge amount of sparrowhawk, kestrels. There's a lot of birds of prey that possibly the kite doesn't. I don't know. I've never looked into it.
Well, we have all of those actually, and the kites are here as well. So in my experience with where I am, the buzzards don't put the kites off. They just figure this shit out.
Yeah, okay.
But there will obviously be something. And then the buzzards were the first to arrive. The buzzards were always here, actually. Even during the 1950s intensive farming, the buzzards were here. But the kites have been a new...
Yeah. The buzzards are they're quite brutish. The buzzards,
they're brutish,
incredibly hardy. There's so little that seems to bother them in any way.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
And they're not even the most beautiful of the birds of prey.
No,
sorry, buzzards,
call.
but yes,
I love their call.
Yes,
don't you love that call? Yeah. That always makes my soul shiver a little bit.
Yeah, they do have a very haunting sound to them. Yeah, no, I agree. Not as haunting. We have a black woodpecker, which the call that gives is haunting as well.
Is it?
Very haunting. Now, I rarely see it. I have to say, it's incredibly private and hidden. But I hear it and I see it flying, because woodpeckers always do that funny wavy flight through the sky. So, but I've never up close. And
you've never had the chance to record it. That haunting cry.
No. Do you know, Eleanor? I take my phone and my camera almost everywhere, and you can guarantee the one moment when I really need it, I don't have it. Yeah, sod's law.
But they are remarkable. I mean, there's lots I want to get onto, but I definitely just want to talk about your photography. It's so arresting, and it speaks so much to me about your deep commune with the land and the sky.
It's. I mean, I've always been a child of the country. You know, I was born in Sussex, and
me too.
Born in Sussex, yeah, cool. And we lived from the age of 6. We lived in the country, surrounded by countryside, on a farm. And I think it does instill, when you live with animals and you're brought up with animals and you have to deal with every side of their lives, the illnesses, the problems, the birthing problems, the stillbirths, everything, the orphan lambs, everything. You do get a certain you feel affiliated. Oh, sorry, I can see.
Tell me, what are you seeing?
A turtle dove, which is really rare.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so wonderful.
That is wonderful.
Hello, turtle dove.
Yeah, hello, little thing. It's alone though, which is a bit sad. That's odd. But anyway,
might she have a mate somewhere that we can't
see? Hopefully. It's kind of odd to see her at this time of year, though.
Is it?
Or him. I don't know. I can't tell. It's quite distant. But anyway,
okay.
That's serendipitous.
I think so. I think
Absolutely.
it is.
Yeah.
So did you? So you grew up on a farm in West Sussex?
I grew up on a farm we lived in a tied cottage on a farm in West Sussex. My father, who had never worked on a farm before, we decided to move out of East Grinstead from a tiny little flat into a tied cottage on a farm in Bolcombe, and in return for the cottage, my father did I think 1 or 2 days work, 1.5 days work, I think, on the farm each week with the farmer. The farmer had 2 girls. We were 2 girls at the time, but we were 3 a little bit later on. So there was the 5 of us, all girls on a farm. I mean, we
muddy boots.
Yeah, muddy boots, all sorts of tricks, perfume made out of flowers, camps made out of straw bales. I mean, it was
frog spawn.
Absolutely frog spawn, and the river at the bottom of the valley where we found once a case of silver spoons.
Wow.
Bridge.
Wow.
We had fun. And I think because we were always outside, it's you don't want to be indoors when you've learned to live that life of being outside, and you've come to know so much about everything that goes on outside and what you can do, the adventures. I mean, as a child, there's slightly different adventures, although I don't actually feel completely different now than I did when I was that age. It just carries on. So I do. I mean, when we moved here, I don't think I ever realized quite how close you could become to a piece of land. That is something that's really it's grown on me in such a way that I love this hill. It's like part of me. There's not an inch of it that I don't know. I have become known a little bit as the crazy English woman that struts around the hill with her stick. Go on.
It's a love affair. It sounds like a love affair.
It absolutely is. It really is a love affair. Which is, and it's a continuing love affair because it evolves. Everything is every year it's different. Not always different as I'd like to see it, because we have certain farmers, they rip out the hedges, they cut down trees just so that the land is easier to work, which devastates me. But it does evolve. And I think I wrote sometime last year or maybe the year before, I can't remember, about a path that the path was just ancient. And he plowed it up. He literally just plowed it in, and the trees that were growing just beside the path, he just pushed them over and into the woods. It was devastating. I mean, half of the silver birch forest, which is at the top of the hill and down the west side, or sort of northwest side, is gone. It's just gone.
I have a friend. I have a friend who lives in Somerset, in a very beautiful part of Somerset, and the hill behind her is holy and magical. And there is, or was at least, a farmer who farmed the fields between her home and the crest of the hill. And he did exactly that. We used to call him Bunts and Beans.
Yeah.
He would just...
Bunts and beans.
Bunts and beans, it was devastating. It was devastating. And when I see it happen around here, it strikes me as so extraordinary. I can understand somebody who doesn't have a relationship with the land, not understanding that the land is alive. It can hear you. We are in a relationship with it. But for somebody who lives and works on the land, as many farmers by default, that is literally what they do. For that person to have no relationship with the land,
of course, and it's
mind-blowing.
And it's so often, but it's so often the case. The farmers, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 farmers that have cattle and crops around this hill. One of them comes from a different village, but he has his herd on the hill. And to me, a farmer he's a caretaker of the land, Yeah, exactly. But them even more so, perhaps.
Even more so, yeah.
They don't care for the land. They plow every year. Still, they plow every single year. When it's not necessary, and you can't instill in them the what we now know to be true, as in you don't need to plow, you don't need to dig that deep, and it's doing damage to the undersoil, it's doing damage to everything that lives there. And they don't believe it. They just won't believe it.
I mean, I understand it's habit.
Yes. It is habit, it's tradition, and I mean, like a lot of things, maybe you found this as well, in France, everything is quite traditional. Everything is very much, people are reluctant to change, very much so, which is frightening in a way, because they need to.
Yes, I mean, I do really understand the weight and power of habit, and we all have habits, and I really understand. I think you could sort of draw a parallel with education. You know, that farmer or that parent doesn't want to use that land or their child as the experimentation year, because if they don't get their crop or their child misses a year of education, you know what I mean? So I understand the pressure and the desire not to take that risk. But equally, as the data builds up in both fields, farming and education, the data builds and builds and builds, and it becomes perfectly clear that it's not really a risk to not plough your field. It's actually a risk to plough your field.
To plough the field, but
to plough the field.
But try and make them see
spraying.
that. Yeah,
I know. I have this row with some very good friends of mine who, to all intents and purposes, you know, are very much on board with, you know, regenerating the land according to the land's wishes. But they persist in spraying ragwort. And I don't know how many times I can show them the data, you know, that you don't. It's just a myth.
It's
a myth.
It is a myth. It is a myth.
But, you know, these things, it's so deeply embedded that ragwort kills horses.
Yeah, I know. I know. And education, I mean, perhaps, in fact, maybe we'll just leave that, because I could rant for hours.
We can go there if you want. You're in it. I mean, you work with children, don't you?
I work with children with, I work with children with learning disabilities up to the age of 15.
Okay.
So I work this year. I have 3 children in the maternelle. So yes, in the nursery classes. Then I have 4 more in primary and 3 in college. And the education system here, whilst it once, you know, when we arrived in 2005, the French education system was still revered as one of the best in the world. We are a long way from that now, because they refuse to move. They refuse to budge in their traditional system of education. And sadly, I feel personally the French are getting left behind. And I know it's not just me. You know, I speak to all of the teachers that I work with, all the professors. They all agree. We are so lagging behind. It's ridiculous. So it's a disaster. It is a disaster at the moment. And of course,
go on.
Well, teachers are so badly paid here that, you know, they're one of the worst paid in Europe.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I assume by lagging behind, you mean not in grades, but in children's preparation for the world they'll inherit.
Exactly. You know, life has evolved so much since I was at school, since even my daughter was at school, because I now teach in the school that she started and my son. And, you know, the system, life has changed. But everything has evolved to such an extent that, you know, children of even primary age, they know how to use a computer, they know how to use a phone, they know how to use a tablet. It's their life at home, but it's not at school. They're not encouraged to use it at school. And I know the dangers. I know, you know, the constant scrolling, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever, Instagram. But if they're taught to use it properly, to use it as a tool for life, then I think they'd see a big difference in how the child will react to certain lessons, because, you know, they're bored, Eleanor. They are bored stupid. Okay. This is biggest problem. They have all of this at home at their fingertips, where they can look up, they can discover, they can do what they want. But at school, they're limited to graphisme, repetitive. You have to write like this. This is the way the E is written. You have to do a K with a little, everything is precise. And it's not working anymore. It really isn't working anymore.
And the world that it was designed for doesn't exist anymore.
No, exactly.
Does it?
It doesn't.
It just doesn't.
It really doesn't. I mean, when you hear, I was in a comment from Nathan Slake the other day. He wrote that in Denmark, I think, no, in Norway, they have banned the postage stamp, which means nobody can write a letter anymore. The postage stamp no longer exists in Norway.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, to me, it's
silence to the room, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's a moment in time, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, all change. If you can't write a letter to a friend on the other side of the world, actually sit and write a letter. I mean, that's so sad. That's so sad. I mean, soon will people even be able to write? I wonder. We have to learn to write, and we have to practice that learning, even if it's not enjoyed. But will that? I don't know.
Good question, Susie.
It's
a good question. Whether in 100 years' time will anyone be able to write? Because there is. Although actually, I was in a restaurant the other day. In fact, yesterday. And it's a members place, so you have to show your membership number, which is a very, very long number, which you show on your phone. And I noticed that all of the waiting staff, all of everybody, it wasn't automatic. They had to write the number down on a piece of paper. And at one point, I said to this woman, "You'd think they'd have an automatic thing that you would just press it and it would come up on your automatic screen." And she said, "You'd think that, but actually it kept on breaking. And so they sent us back to pen and paper again." And also, I remember hearing from various people in sort of security, MI5, MI6, this kind of thing, that the security services have returned to pen and paper.
Okay. Interesting.
Because it can't be scanned.
Well, it can't be scanned. And also, if something is urgent, there's no chance of the Wi-Fi going down or 4G breaking down. I mean, we had a complete blackout here the other day where we had nothing. We had no 4G, we had no Wi-Fi, we had nothing. And of course, it was on a day when I'm sitting there with all my paperwork. Things had to be sent. There were deadlines, because that's me entirely. I'm always the very last minute sending things off rather than doing it when they first come in. And we had nothing. We had no signal at all. Nothing. Not anywhere. So I suppose with everything that's electronic, digital, high tech, there's always that chance of breakdown. Or
we all know it can break in a minute. The next second, you and I can cut off. And I suspect in Norway, I'd put money on the fact that some bright spark private company will set up a private postal service.
Well, let's hope so.
I bet that happens. Let's hope so.
Yeah, because I think
let's hope so.
If it's something that's going to catch on around the world, and we can no longer write letters, because I do still write letters. I do still write a real letter. To people, and I do still send things because I enjoy doing it, and I think there's something so special about receiving a handwritten letter now as well. It's
pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It really is.
Beautiful.
Even if it's just a short little postcard. How many people send postcards anymore? They don't. They just don't do it.
Yeah, I love receiving them, and I love sending them. I don't write letters like I used to. I used to write letters all the time, but I still send postcards to friends, little bits and bobs and silly things and stuff like that. Tell me, Susie, have you and your hill been looking for each other all your life?
Inadvertently, and possibly subconsciously, maybe. I certainly feel like I found something here that I couldn't leave. Whereas in Ireland, we lived at the foot of a hill in Ireland called Na Costa, which was a hill. Would you believe in 20 years I only walked up 3 times?
Wow.
And there wasn't the draw. There wasn't this. Whereas this here, maybe it is something that subconsciously I've been searching for and have finally found and love. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean that I can't imagine not living on this hill.
Okay.
I really can't. And there are days when I think, my God, because this is a big house.
Yeah.
My husband and I aren't getting any younger, obviously. And it's a lot of work to keep it going. And it's ancient in places. There's parts of it still not finished. And I do wonder, in another 10 years even, are we going to be able to keep all of this going? Are we going to keep the logs coming in through the door, up 11 steps, and to keep the house warm? Already it's a cold house. And we huddle in the kitchen mostly. So I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I think that's possibly, it breaks my heart. It makes my heart ache to think about it. So I try not to. If I have to, then obviously I will. But for now, I just try not to think about it.
Will one of your children come and take it over, do you think?
Well, Steph, my son, he is adamant that we never sell it. Definitely.
Okay, that's good.
My daughter, but because he was born a month after we moved into this house. We had another house just across on another hill, which didn't draw me as much, I have to say. And we basically moved in a month before he was born. I was painting walls when I was 8 months pregnant, and desperately trying to get it so that it was habitable, because it was a ruin when we bought it. It really was. So he's only ever known this house, whereas Rosie has known the house in Ireland as well. So for her, she's less tied. She's she feels less tied to it. But Seth, he has already said, no, don't ever sell it, Mummy. He would like to live here. He'd like to keep it. So hopefully there is that. But then there's the money question. Which can we afford to go anywhere else without selling it? I don't know. I really don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I can't look into the future any more than anybody else can. And actually, I don't think I want to. I don't want to know. I'd rather deal with these things as they come up and deal with the heartbreak if I have to, rather than dwelling on the heartbreak for years beforehand. I don't want to leave this house. And at point blank, I just don't want to leave this house. But the reality perhaps might tell me otherwise. It really will. So we'll see.
When you first came to France, you lived in I didn't realize that you lived in a different house.
We did, yes. We bought.
So that crazy journey. Well, I know you had a crazy journey to Ireland, but the journey to France and the buying, that was a different house. And then, so how long were you in tell me a bit about the different house and then finding this one and your hill.
Okay, this was the house we bought from Ireland. This house that we're in now was always the house we were going to live in, but it wasn't just derelict. Parts of it were a ruin. No roof, no floors, just walls. There was no sanitation, there was no electricity, there was nothing. So when we arrived, we actually met some really wonderful people almost day one, who said, look, we have a house, you can live in that for 3 months at least until we get there for the summer. Which we did. And in the meantime, having looked around here and realizing that no, it was just not possible to make any part of it habitable in 3 months, we decided to buy a very small house to live in while the work was going on, which gave us leeway to do it a little bit more methodically rather than rushing. You know, my husband is an artisan, so he knew what he was doing, but he also knows that there are things you can't rush. And for instance, the beams you can see above, all of those are all new. They had to be replaced. They're not the originals. Every single one was broken. Every single one was in. So you know, and that's you know, that's not a quick job, replacing things like that. It's something that you have to take your time over. The timbers have to settle in. It was huge. So we bought the little house first and moved 4 years later.
4 years it took.
4 years. It took 4 years. Yeah, it took 4 years
to be initially habitable, but still not finished.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Gosh. I mean, there's parts that are still not. I mean, we had, obviously, when we first moved in, we had huge plans for all sorts of things to go on, which have just never happened. Purely because once you get into a house, as I'm sure you know, you start living in it, and you suddenly think, oh my God, I don't think we can cope with the works that it's going to entail to do this and to do that. And so the up above is a whole floor of 175 square meters, maybe more. Which is just not touched at all.
Wow, huge.
Yeah, it is huge. The whole house is around about 369 square meters, I think.
Gosh, it's really big.
Yeah, it's too big, Eleanor. It's too big. It's too big. And I do wonder in 18 months' time, when Steph has gone off to university, what are we going to do here? It's just us. So yeah, it is too big. But hey, we love it.
Yeah, and that's the center of things. And so, did you say it's got 11 steps leading up to? Oh, there you are. 11 steps leading up to it as well. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 11 steps up to the door. You know, which is fine when you're just walking up and down, but when you're carrying an arm full of logs,
it's a very, very different story.
Yeah, which we have to do daily in the winter. You know, it's because we have no central heating. We're only heated with wood.
Right. So do you have fires in each room?
We have we have 3 wood burning stoves. There's one going in here. There's one going in the kitchen, and then there's another lit at night. But this one, quite honestly, I've lit it because I'm sitting here with you, and it's the quietest place in the house. And if I was in the kitchen, we would have been very disturbed. So I don't like this one all the time. So passing through this room to any bedroom, it's like walking into a fridge in winter.
Okay. So I'm being very nosy now, but so what's your heat? What heats your water? And what
the water is there is an electric boiler downstairs. Okay. We actually have a big range, which one day will be fitted, one day, which we can hook up to the water system, and a couple of radiators to put in rooms like this that we don't use often, but just to keep an ambient temperature.
Just to keep it chill.
Yeah. But the trouble with that is we don't want to use plastic pipes.
Yeah.
We don't want to, have to drill out the walls and put plastic pipes in. So we'd rather have copper pipes that run along the edge of the walls. And the price of, in a house this size, the price of copper is just
breathtaking.
Yeah. We have the radiators, we have the stove. Once we can afford the price of the copper, we buy the pipes. It's a bit like that. We're very rustic. And luckily we're very resilient as well.
Yes, you strike me as very bold. All of your decisions from Derbyshire to Ireland to France, and I don't know what happened before Derbyshire, I'd love to know that, have been bold and taken resilience.
Yes. I mean, and even moving up to Derbyshire, it was a spur of the moment decision. I'd been traveling. I'd done the whole Southeast Asia tour and Australia and back through Canada and the States. And when I got back, to start with a couple of friends, and then eventually alone. Yeah, I carried on alone. And when I got back, I was offered work by the company that I'd left to go travelling up in Manchester. And I just thought, well, yeah, why not? I'll move up to Manchester. But I didn't want to live in the city. And I'd been on a course once up in in Hayfield, and stayed in I think it was a pub, I think it was a hotel, in fact, over 2 nights to do the course. And I thought, well, it was beautiful there. Hayfield, Edale, all around there, Glossop. I don't know if you know it. It's
I know it,
stunning.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this. It's very much like this, and it was a part of the country I completely fell in love with. I love the fells. I love the hills, and the sort of moodiness of it all. And I thought, well, I'll have a look around there, and I bumped into people where I was staying in the hotel, and they said, oh, well, we know somebody you can rent a house from. So, and that's how it started, and that's where I met my husband. So that's how I.
What was the course you were doing?
I can't remember. There's some sort of management
I see.
project.
It wasn't an outdoor.
No. Oh,
dry stone wall kind of course.
No,
okay, no, it was just a bog standard.
A bog standard management course run by an American lady who was incredibly officious, if you like, and just a tiny bit scary, actually. No, a lot scary. She terrified me. And it was run by the company that I was working for at the time. So it was just something to get you up the ladder in that company. I mean, as it was, that company closed down, but
in terms of that search for where you are now, not just geographically, but the life you're living now, there's, I don't want to say a recreation of your childhood, but certainly you've lifted off from, it seems to me, the experience of that childhood. When did that crystallize in your mind that you knew that's what you were looking for?
I have always wanted to live in France. My grandmother was French, and since the age of realizing that there were other countries with other languages, I always wanted to live in France. So that was never anything. That wasn't really a spur of the moment decision. That was something that's always been very close to my heart. Moving to France, eventually, when we finally did after Ireland, was more a case of it was definitely a case of the Celtic tiger no longer roaring and getting out while the going was good, and we did. On hindsight, it was a good move and a hasty move. I mean, we possibly could have chosen a more English populated spot to start off with, because literally here there are so few English.
A good thing though, surely.
I mean, it is a good thing, and I never ever would have considered going to the Dordogne or any of those areas where it's just basically a mini England.
Normandy.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, I never would have considered that. But there were, at the start there were times when I just desperately needed to speak English to somebody. It was hard. I had pretty much only schoolgirl French, and dealing, well, as I'm sure you know, Eleanor, the administration here is, I mean, it is a bureaucratic nightmare, which is and it's continuous. It hasn't stopped. Just because we have a computer, it's still a nightmare.
It's Dickensian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just yesterday I had to deal with insurance problem, which I just thought, no.
The French.
What
I love the French.
are they on about?
But
what
my
are they
God, they
about?
tie red tape up. I mean, it is
they
phenomenal.
They love it. They love
it. That's why I
must have a whole.
So annoying.
They must have acres of warehouses of red tape. Honestly,
they must do. Oh my God,
they love it. Yeah.
Tell me about your French grandmother.
My French grandmother, bless her. She came from Paris originally. Well, her mother had a little cafe somewhere in Paris. During the war, her and her sister were sent to the UK for safety, sent somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. And within a week she'd fallen in love with my granddad. Within 3 weeks, they were married. And do you know what? She never left. She never, ever went back to France. Never. So they were inseparable, the pair of them. They were just, they were like young teenagers, even at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. So she never lost her accent. She never understood. There was a lot of words in English that she still didn't understand at the end, especially swear words, because my grandfather never swore in front of her ever. So there were a lot of swear words that if somebody did inadvertently let slip in front of her, she would say, "But what does that mean? What is that word?" So she was she was an amazing. She was such an elegant lady, and so gentle and so. I just can't think of the word. She was just so calm always, and quiet and kind, and she was an amazing woman and a beautiful woman.
What was her name?
Yvonne Louise. Yeah. Yvonne Louise. My grandfather, who came from Nottingham, I mean, he too was a gentleman. He was somebody. He would never have. I never heard either of them shouting ever. They were never angry, and I do remember that incredibly about them. Grandad was the most gentle person you could possibly imagine. He could cope with everything, except Grandma having a stroke. That was the one thing that it threw him so badly. 5 years she was in a hospice, she was in a hospice, I think, for 5 years after her stroke, because she couldn't move, and he sat by her side every single day, all day.
Oh my God!
And he got pneumonia. He used to feed her, and he was the only person she would allow to feed her. And he got pneumonia, was admitted to hospital. Grandma died the week he was there, and he died, I think, a year later. Grandma died when we first got to, just not long after anyway. He was 90, she was 85. Yeah. They were just like teenage lovers their entire life. They held hands. They were adorable. They were adorable. Inseparable. Yeah. So
did you get the impression that she died intentionally the week he wasn't there because she couldn't leave while he was there?
I missed that, and there's something cut off there. Yeah.
I wondered if it's conceivable, it crossed your mind whether she chose that week to die when he wasn't there.
Oh, absolutely. She refused food. She refused food. Absolutely. Yeah. It was without doubt that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without doubt. She didn't want to carry on. She knew that she was incapable, that she was a burden, if you like, on him, on the family. My father died before she did, and before he did, and she never knew, because the stroke had tangled up her mind so much. She never actually knew that my father had died. We didn't tell her, and she didn't notice that he'd stopped coming. So yeah,
they were both, your grandmother and grandfather were in Nottingham when they died. They lived and died in Nottingham.
No. They moved from. They met in the south, because during the war, Grandad was I think he was army police or something. So he was based in the UK, and they met in the south, and they moved to. Now I've forgotten the name of it. It begins with R, but they moved to Kent. And from Kent, then they moved to Sussex.
So your father was born in Sussex?
No, Daddy was born on Romney Marsh. There you go. That was
Romney Marsh. Okay,
yeah,
then the family moved to West
Then
Sussex.
the family moved, yeah. And my father was one of 4 boys. So I'm only two of which were born in Sussex, 2 of which were born on Romney Marsh, and the eldest of which is still alive. He lives in Najak, just down the road here.
So lots of return to France. So she died in West Sussex in that case.
Yeah.
Is that where she's buried?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And her sister, Nicole, I have a feeling has died since we've been in France. She lived to be a good age. But she too stayed in England. She married a very wealthy Englishman, and she too stayed in England. So,
but she never returned either to France.
No, neither of them did. No, whether Nicole returned for visits, I don't know, but Grandma certainly didn't. She never ever went back to France. She never left the UK after that. In fact,
remarkable.
Yeah.
So, were you conscious as a young girl growing up that you had this French connection that you wished to return? And did it feel?
Yeah.
Did it feel visceral? Did it feel land?
Absolutely, very much so. Very much so. It felt it felt land based. It felt family based as well, though. In as much as I wanted, in an odd sort of way, to carry on the French side of the family somehow. Which hopefully I've done. My son was born here, although he still has English nationality. We're about to change all of that.
Good job.
Well, he had, unfortunately, because we both had British nationality when he was born. We had no choice. He had to have a British passport. We didn't. It's not what we wanted, but because neither of us were French, he had to have a British passport. But now that he's reached the age of majority, or almost, he can decide. So he's just going to get a French passport. I will have to go through all the rigmarole of trying to change nationality. But I think with French grandmother and the fact that I've worked here for 20 years and I have I'm fonctionnaire as well. I don't think it'll be a problem. My husband has he now has Irish nationality because his family were Irish.
Okay, so that's fine. So have you got residency but not citizenship?
We have residency,
status? Yeah. But not citizenship. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I'm sure you'll get it.
I think so. I just hope I don't have to take the written exam to prove that my French, my spoken French is just about acceptable. I'm pretty sure they think I speak French like a Spanish goat, but I think that my history is it's just not my strong point, and I can't remember anything. It doesn't matter how many times I hear it in class or how many times I read it. I cannot remember the dates, and I know that this exam, because I've done a simulation online, is very much based on French history. So I pray I don't have to do that, because I won't pass. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to. I think to get citizenship now, to get yourself a French passport, you have to do an oral exam and a French knowledge exam. Now, the oral, I won't have any problem in, but the general knowledge, because it's all French general knowledge, I will struggle, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because dates just don't stick in your head. That's just a thing that happens. It doesn't happen.
Exactly. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Telephone numbers, I can still tell you the telephone number of British Airways where my dad worked. But I can't.
Or your West Sussex. I know you had a West Sussex number.
Exactly.
Welcome to 275 or whatever it was.
527. Yeah.
527. I nearly got it right.
Yeah. I can remember. That I can remember. But dates just don't stick, and it doesn't matter how long. Yeah. It's really odd. I don't know. And it is annoying. If I have, luckily, I only have one class where I have to take history with these kids, and I literally have my phone in front of me to check everything before I tell them any detail whatsoever, because I know if I say it without checking, it will be wrong.
There must be a name for that. I have a friend who is exactly the opposite. She has an uncanny ability to remember dates. She can remember every single birthday of every friend.
Wow.
without, she doesn't look at it. She just has it. She knows it. And I tell her she's weird. I tell her, Lisa, you're weird.
Yeah.
She laughs.
Yeah. I mean, birthdays, I used to be, I never used to forget a birthday, but I think this is the other thing with moving to another country. You know, it's almost, you feel so detached that even things like birthdays become, they become detached with you. So yeah, birthdays, I'm not so good on these days, I have to say. I'm usually a day late, let's put it that way.
Ben says it's called calendarphasia. I don't know if he's made that up.
Okay.
Ben, have you made that up, or is that a real thing? Are you a different person in France?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Ask me if I'm a different person after menopause. You might get a different answer, but
we're all our real selves emerges at menopause.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, without any doubt. I mean, I've never felt so real in my life as I feel now. And
that's really odd you say that, because that's how I feel too. Definitely. You know, I actually feel like I'm a person now rather than half a person.
Yeah, everything before now was a disguise and a front and a mask.
Yeah,
and there were bits that were, I was doing my best to fit in and please and do all that shit.
Yeah,
but this is now we're talking.
It's almost as if every inhibition is melted away with the ovaries and whatever else disappears during menopause. And I agree totally.
Yeah, it's the best. It's an absolute revolution, and I think it's great. I saw this brilliant thing the other day that feminism. I think it was something like, I'll get it wrong, but anyway, feminism taught women how to be powerful, but what it didn't teach was it didn't teach men how to live with powerful women. Because now we're just being ourselves.
True.
And
exactly.
We're all equal under the sun. And obviously, as we all know, that's perceived as a threat rather than actually the best thing that can happen to this planet.
Right. Well, I'm not sure my husband would agree, but I agree. Entirely.
God love them, and I do love men in general. I think as
me too.
A subsector of our species, I think they're fucking great. But there's a sense of entitlement over our time and our bodies as a kind of default bedrock. And I consistently have to say, you do not have entitlement. You are not entitled to my time or my body. I can give both of those things to you if I feel like it.
Yeah.
But a bedrock of entitlement is not going to work.
No.
Just be super clear.
Yeah, no, I agree. Men are wonderful. I adore men as well. I have no problem mixing with men that want to be women or women that want to be. I have no problem with any of that. Whatever. I love people, Eleanor. I adore.
Yeah, me too. I love people too.
And I love discovering that they're what makes them tick and what makes them work and what they hate and what they love. But yeah. After menopause, and it is definitely after menopause that this happens, I think we women really, we are how we were always meant to be.
This is the truth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So,
and it's magnificent.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is once the actual menopause part is bloody well over.
Yeah, and for each of us, I mean, I feel I got away super lucky. I had about 6 months of what the fuck is happening here? And then I came out the other side and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was okay. But obviously, we each have our own voyage through that fire. And I know I got off light.
I mean, I got off with a gift, my son.
Well, this was amazing. I did read that that surprise last.
It was a surprise. It was a surprise. Yeah. I mean, I was 44 when he was born, and going through menopause. It was pre-menopause, where apparently, and something I didn't know at the time, you are probably more fertile than
you are. Your body's
you ever have been.
Out eggs.
Yeah,
it's hurling them out.
Yeah. And I fell pregnant.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
And now he's 17.
So he's about to go off to university. Where's he going?
He's got another year. He's doing his back, his French and his maths back this year. The following year he'll have to redo another maths back. The French he won't take again. That's only once, but that has to be replaced with philosophy. Then after that, so the year after, in 2028, I guess that will be. Yeah, he will be off to Albi. Which is the university recommended, or it's the best university in the country for what he wants to do, which is computer engineering.
Nice.
So, but he has to take a bac plus 3 in order to do the degree he wants to do. So he's got at least another 6 years study before.
Not at home.
No. This will he's decided he could probably do the bac plus 3 anywhere. But he's decided that he'd rather do that in Albi, because then he'll have like a group of friends and a circle of people that he already knows before he gets to university. And I have a feeling it's actually done in the same place, because the BTS is quite often at a university state, in a university surrounding anyway. So I think he'll do that. And I'm quite happy with that, because Albi's not so far from here. It's probably only an hour and a bit by car, so
it's okay.
It's cool. Yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much my story as well, with my 2 twins who left home this summer. They've both gone to London. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours away. But they grew up here at the farm. It's not actually that isolated. We're only 2 hours from London and stuff, but we are up on a hill far away.
Yeah.
Like, it can feel completely isolated here. So I know it was time for them to be like, "Oh, get me out of here."
Yeah. I'm not sure Seth really feels like that, and I think that's possibly why he's decided that Albi is a good good spot to not just because it's the best course he can find, but because it is only an hour away, because he loves being here. My daughter loves being here, although she also loves her city life as well. She's in Toulouse. But I think, certainly Seth, he will, maybe it's creature comfort, maybe it's the thought of mum's food, I don't know, but I think he'll be back more often than Rosie. Definitely.
My friends tell me that they all fly away at 18, 19, and then they all fly back in their
fly back
20s
again. Yeah.
But mine are only in London, so it's nice actually. So I go. In fact, I'm just about to move or spend more time in London anyway, because I find myself suddenly alone here. I've been a single mom.
I read you're thinking of buying something in London. Yeah.
Well, not buying, just renting.
Renting, okay.
Yeah, but I've been at this farmhouse for 30 years. We've run a commune. I've had 2 marriages. I've brought up my kids. It's always been full of people, hundreds of people. And suddenly I'm alone.
It's empty.
And it's and it's beautiful. I mean, it's never alone, because I'm surrounded by, in terms of land, me and this land and this house and this hill, we are one.
Yeah. Of course.
And I move.
Well, 30 years is a long time.
It's a long time. So I'm never alone here. And I never feel alone here. I feel completely within my own heart and sphere. But I just need to be able to go pick up the phone and say, "Do you want to go for a cup of tea?" and walk out and see a friend, and not have to plan it 4 weeks in advance.
I think... Yeah, and I can understand that. Although, I have always lived I've always lived outside of a community. I've never been actually on the inside of a community. So I've never had that. Let's nip out and do this. Let's just go and have a quick cup of coffee. And I've never lived in a big town. Well, no, actually, that's not true. I lived in Brighton for a little while.
Okay.
So I think it's possibly what you're used to, because you've said your house was always full of lots and lots of people, hundreds of people all the time. They're coming and going. Of course,
the countryside. I lived in both. My mum in London, my dad in West Sussex. So I lived. So London is very much in my veins as well.
Course,
yeah. So I think I just I'm hungry for bustle.
Will you commute? Do you think? Do you think you'll do sort of weekends?
I just don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
Don't know.
I'm sure it'll reveal itself. It'll unfold exactly as it's meant to be. I just feel really lucky that I can make those choices.
Of course, yeah.
Really
I mean, I'm not. London to me, it would swamp me. I know it would.
I
Toulouse,
find it gas.
Yeah, but you know it. Whereas
I know it really well. Yeah.
I haven't set foot in London since I was 25, maybe.
Okay.
25 years old. Maybe, around there. Around there. Certainly not much older.
It's changed a lot, Susie.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I don't really know the city at all. Yeah.
No, it's fun. Susie, I've just noticed the time. We're over time. I could talk to you for hours. Can I come visit? Can I come visit you?
Of course, Eleanor, anytime. Of course you can.
Yeah, right, amazing.
Do.
Well,
there'll always be tea and cake. Maybe even a glass of wine.
Oh yes, and I want to walk on the hill. I want to come and love your hill as you love it.
Okay, well, come in spring then, because in summer it's just a cake of dry concrete, and in winter it's mud.
Okay. Spring and autumn, they're the most beautiful times at my place in France.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
Susie, I want to dedicate this conversation to your grandmother. Just remind me of her name again.
Thank you. Her name is Yvonne Louise.
Yvonne Louise.
Yvonne Louise.
Yvonne Louise. And thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. And thank you everybody for showing up as well.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming.
I've no idea who, because I can't see.
But I can see Julie Gabrielle is there, and I think lots of friends have joined us. That's
lovely.
The best thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay,
Susie, you're much loved, and I will see you in the stacks.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.